Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. If you thought the Antonio Brown trade was the sexiest move of NFL free agency, you must have forgotten to put the S at the end of his name, Perna. I'm talking Browns, not Brown. The Cleveland Browns are winning free agency. What can Brown do for you was a popular slogan for UPS last time anyone was this excited about the Browns.
You can see through my clothes, can't you?
See what Brown can do for you.
Speaking of shipping, the Browns are seeking trade options for defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah.
See what Brown can do for you.
Well, they can trade for Odell Beckham Jr., whose hair makes me far less angry than Cocaine Neo from UPS. I truly hope some of you here remember how annoying those commercials were. That guy ended whiteboards' careers in basically every place UPS delivers. Now, let's discuss what replacing LBJ with OBJ means for Cleveland and figuring out how many Super Bowls the Browns will win in a row. That's good sports. Yeah, subscribe here. Also, this episode is sponsored by Manscaped.com. Aerospace engineers got bored after they conquered outer space, so they decided to focus their brain power in a more important direction, designing skin-safe technology that makes manscaping easy for everyone. From the lawnmower to the plow to the new out-of-this-world crop mop ball wipes, the universe is vast, which means there's probably alien life forms out there somewhere. Use Manscaped ball wipes so the alien life forms don't grow below the belt. They're also handy for polishing your space helmet. Like the parts on a spaceship, the ceramic blade on the Manscaped Lawnmower 2.0 is easily replaceable. If Tom Hanks can fix Apollo 13 without gravity, you can swap parts on your pube mower. Men, if you want to be cleared for liftoff, keep it trim and keep it fresh down there with Crop Mop Ball Wipe. Save 20% with promo code SPORT20 or my link in the description for your manscaping kit today. I do find it interesting that two of the perennial bottom-feeding teams, the Raiders and the Browns, are basically in an unintended free agency pissing contest. You can't not compare with the headliners Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr.'s trades. OBJ is a younger, equally talented, slightly less dramatic, and slightly less durable version of Antonio Brown. And he's getting added to what is becoming known as the 2019 Super Team. It's the 2018 Rams in uglier uniforms with a poor man Sean McVay at head coach. At this point, if you're not excited about the Browns, you're probably a Steelers, Ravens, or Bengals fan. Now, I think any offense is better with Odell Beckham Jr. at wide receiver. What I really like about this trade, though, is I think Baker Mayfield is the perfect quarterback for a guy like Beckham. Eli certainly was not, and neither was head coach Pat Shurmur. Shurmur understands young people the same way Aunt Becky understands the college admissions process. Oh, burn, topical. As it stands so far, these are some of the key additions for the Browns roster. Cleveland will sign defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson on a 3-year, $36 million deal with $21.5 million guaranteed. This pairs him with newly acquired defensive lineman Olivier Vernon, who, like Beckham, came over from the Giants. They signed 6'7", 230-pound Chiefs tight end Demetrius Harris on a 2-year deal to play with rising tight end star David Njoku, linebacker Adarius Taylor on a 2-year deal, and not to mention Kareem Hunt will be with the team for dirt cheap, which is good because now he'll only be able to afford motels instead of hotels. Nothing bad ever happens in motels, except in the movies. And they didn't even need him with how good Nick Chubb is playing. Then you add Beckham to a receiving core that already includes Jarvis Landry and the up-and-coming Antonio Callaway. The Browns basically have 2 number 1s at almost every skill position, which is a major improvement for a team whose number 1s have previously only been known for taking number 2s on the field. Since the Steelers lost Bell and Brown, I think we can transfer the dumbest nickname in sports history and call the Browns the Killer Bees. They stacked an already talented defensive line and have 2 good corners in Demarius Randall and Denzel Ward. It feels like they're mimicking the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles roster roadmap. There's still only about 30 safeties left in free agency to replace Jabrill Peppers, and honestly, I think the last piece of the puzzle is convincing Bill Belichick to finally come back and coach the Browns. He'll win at least 2 more Super Bowls, and the rest of us can watch him help destroy the empire he created with his new Killer Bees, which Bill Belichick obviously fits into perfectly. Not because of the double B's in his name, but because of his killer bod. That's what wet carbs look like, baby. Officially, Odell Beckham Jr. was traded to the Browns for a 1st and 3rd round pick and safety Jabrill Peppers. Now, Beckham's trade really trumped Le'Veon Bell's signing. Beckham wanted to top Le'Veon Bell the same way Charlie Casserly wants to top Stephen A. Smith.
Why don't you throw the guy the ball more? I tell you what, Des Bryant, they threw the ball too much to him last year. Get Beasley more involved.
The difference is when Stephen A. Smith talks, it doesn't sound like my grandpa talking about the Great Depression. Now, this trade is not official until I do a pros and cons list. Odell Beckham, pro. Already the best receiver in Browns history, and he hasn't even stepped onto the field yet. Con, the only place he can take a boat pick is on Lake Erie, which has been known to catch on fire. Pro, gets to play with Baker Mayfield instead of Eli Manning. Con, the only position other AFC North teams decided to keep this year was cornerback. Pro, it's Saquon Barkley's turn to get traded 1 year into a 5-year contract. Con, let's not forget that he got traded to the Cleveland fucking Browns, who aren't suddenly not the Cleveland fucking Browns just because they happened to win 7 games last year. Pro, it's a reunion for Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, college teammates and best friends at LSU. Con, you ever reconnect with old college friends after you've grown up, but they're still all about pre-gaming while you murder kids on Halo 2 and then don't leave for the bars until midnight, talk to 0 girls, and just end up at the saddest place on earth, Denny's at 4 a.m.? Pro, already lived through the Madden curse. Con, Baker Mayfield has a 1 in 5 chance on landing on the 2020 Madden cover. We all remember what happened to the last Brown who landed on the Madden cover after 1 impressive season. All right, so now let's talk about this from the Giants' point of view real quick. If they insult Eli Manning, the entire Manning family will shut down the Giants organization faster than you can say best regular season QB. And that's why keeping Eli and letting far more talented young players go was an easy decision for Dave Gettleman. Does Dave Gettleman know what the hell he's doing? In the last week, he let Landon Collins walk and joined the rival Redskin Potatoes. He replaced Collins with Antoine Bethea, who's a 14th year safety. He's traded Olivier Vernon, the only other player on the Giants defense anyone can name, for guard Kevin Zeitler, and now he's traded Odell Beckham Jr. Gettleman built a team that went 15-1 in Carolina and made it to the Super Bowl. But he also deconstructed it and let Josh Norman walk and never really gave Cam Newton any sort of outside threat. Not necessary when the media is Cam Newton's biggest outside threat. If you're a Denver Broncos fan, you appreciate Dave Gettleman for building a team good enough to get its ass kicked by Von Miller in the Super Bowl. If you're a Giants fan, you will have to pray your team will be what the Browns are this season in about 3 years. Now here's the crazy thing about this trade. Odell Beckham possibly wants a similar restructuring of his contract like Antonio Brown. Why does that make sense? Beckham signed a 5-year, $90 million contract prior to the 2018 season, and in the first year of that contract, he played in just 12 games, caught 77 passes for 1,052 yards and 6 touchdowns. Not to mention the season before the contract, he only played in 4 games, and now he wants a raise? Typical millennial. Wants to be rewarded for making a one-handed catch years ago and proves how responsible he is by keeping ample storage space on his iPhone. But then again, maybe this is just players' revenge for NFL teams always being able to wiggle their way out of contracts when it's convenient for them. Right now, there's a team option on his contract that means if the Browns want to, they can cut him after the 2020 season, which is right when they would have to pay Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield. So keep that in mind. To be fair to Odell, he's been fined 11 times already in his career, so maybe he's just trying to break even here. My last question is Antonio Brown jealous that Odell was valued significantly higher via draft pick compensation? Probably. Definitely. Almost certainly. What I expect now is for Antonio Brown to hold out until he gets a retrade that involves at least 2 of the 3 Raiders' first-round draft picks this year, and a guarantee from the Highway Patrol that he can drive as fast as he fucking wants, with as much furniture untied to the back of his truck that it can handle. Are the Browns a legit super team? The 2019 version of the LA Rams? They're the only team in the AFC North that got any better, unless you think getting rid of Marvin Lewis was really that much of an upgrade for the Bengals, which it might be. Bengals to win the division. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Make sure you share this video with your doctor. He's smarter than you, and if he does like this video some, he could keep working on you a lot. Also, check out @WillKey6 on Twitter. He helps me write football stuff here. So thank you by thanking him. Okay.